There is much to discuss in this week's episode of Weekly Weird News. But we, of course, must begin with some news that perhaps only one person on Earth is in any way surprised about, that person being Billy McFarland. Because it did genuinely seem like he thought that if he simply willed a second Fyre Festival into existence, if he thought about it, if he put it on his mood board, it would happen. The universe would make it so.
They say if you build it, they will come. And he already tried that, and it worked, kinda. So this time, he was like, what if I didn't build anything, and they still came? What if this entire operation ran solely on vibes?
It's worth a shot. But for everyone else who isn't Billy McFarland, the possibility of a second Fyre Festival actually happening was only ever dubious at best. Even if you weren't following any of the news on the second Fyre Fest, and even if you were completely unaware that a Fyre Fest 2 was even in the works, if you knew about the first one, you knew that the idea of a second Fyre Festival was absurd.
And you might assume that it is quite literally just done to make an experience for people who want to pay to suffer and be part of another movement that they missed out on the first time.
He should have just made an escape room.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is Gen Z looked at these, at this point, they were probably like the youngest millennials, and they said, where is my Netflix documentary worthy event?
He should have just made a DLC for Dead Island.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
The only reason the first Fyre Festival was even notable in any way was that it was a catastrophic failure that not only did not happen, it also stranded a bunch of ticket holders who live tweeted the whole debacle, and it landed Billy McFarland in prison for fraud.
It also had the celebrity aspect of dragging down other artists and promoters as well.
I mean, mostly Ja Rule.
Yeah, exactly, just Ja Rule pretty much. So
everyone else got a text from their manager a week before saying, hey, you want to play this thing in the Caribbean? They're giving us $20,000. Like, sure, fine.
And to their credit, they just didn't show up at all.
Well, most of them canceled because, like, the people started...
The checks didn't go through.
The people started arriving, like, the morning of the festival or maybe the night before, and it was already clear that none of this was going down. So all the bands canceled before they were even in the air.
But nevertheless, over the past year or so, Billy McFarland has been promising a second Fyre Festival.
Threatening a second Fyre Festival.
And really, what else is there for him to do? His hands are probably tied. This is kind of his thing.
That's all he's got.
Yeah. Details have been virtually non-existent, including the actual location of the festival. But exorbitantly priced tickets did go on sale last year on a slickly produced website that would seem legit if you had never heard of Billy McFarland or Fyre Fest. A website? Lying?
It's right there on the internet.
It's so much easier to build a simple website than to create an entire music festival and get all those pesky permits.
Yeah.
But with the actual dates fast approaching, there were some setbacks, like multiple locations in Mexico where the festival was supposedly taking place, publicly announcing that, hey, this is the first we've heard about it. And there hasn't been a music festival that's been booked. In fact, as we pointed out last time, they were probably like, that would be great. If you could just tell us all of the information and we could file the permits, we would love to have an influx of tourists.
We love gringos showing up and giving us money to host their events on our property. You're saying someone wants to do that?
Please go through the proper channels.
Tell them to call us.
So earlier this month, it was revealed that Billy McFarland had successfully booked a venue, but it was a 250-person capacity beach club with no permit at all for live music, and also the hours of operation listed midnight to 4 a.m.
That's the witching hour, baby.
Yes.
He should have just done it in the metaverse. The ship's passed at just the wrong time. If this happened 2 years ago, Fyre Festival 2 would have gone down in the metaverse.
Now, if I were
you would have seen Ugandan Knuckles eating the worst sandwich you've ever seen.
If I were the person in charge of like backup plans here, you would get a bunch of meta headsets, but then you would make sure that everyone does come out of their way to Mexico or the Caribbean or wherever he decides to hold it, and then you just put them in a single conference room in a hotel with the meta having like, well, I hope you enjoyed your time in Mexico.
You are technically in a exotic tropical location.
My work here is done. Thank you, everyone.
Anyway, now it would appear that even that intimate middle of the night listening party ain't happening. I know. Shocking.
Yeah, this was all. These permits were filed as a way to brush away the criticism by people saying that he had booked nothing, and he didn't think for a second that anyone would just Google the name, especially people who paid. You would assume thousands of dollars would just not Google the name of the place he got a permit for.
He's a bad scammer.
Yeah,
I mean, he got away. Even the one time he didn't actually get away with it. He only got away with tricking people into showing up. But it was not a good scam, and it fell apart very quickly because it was a bad scam. And
that wasn't even the first, because before that, he had the black card for people that couldn't afford black cards, remember?
That was a good scam.
It's
diminishing returns on these scams of his.
Yeah.
But here's The Guardian with the latest on Fyre Festival 2. Fyre Festival 2 has been postponed, according to messages sent to ticket holders, just weeks before it was scheduled to start.
Shocking.
However, festival organizers told The Guardian that the festival is still on, and they are currently vetting new locations and will announce our host destination soon. The event, advertised as a luxury music festival, was supposed to take place in Mexico from May 30th to June 2nd. It was intended as an improved follow-up to the failed first Fyre Festival in 2017, which experienced problems with security, food, accommodation, medical services, and artist relations, resulting in the festival being indefinitely postponed and eventually canceled. The event has been postponed and a new date will be announced. We have issued you a refund. Once the new date is announced, at that time, you can repurchase if it works for your schedule. Read a message sent to ticket holders, ABC News reported.
Okay, I hope there's confirmation that they did get those refunds, because at the very least, that's like kind of like, if you're going to do that, that's something. I would venture to guess it's probably going to be a very hard process to get that actual money back, but...
I mean, yeah, hopefully they got the refunds.
Yeah.
And I mean, Billy's been to prison.
Mm-hmm. He's not scared.
He knows that if he steals these people's money, he's going back probably for even longer. So
yeah,
he just wants to do it right. Yeah. He wants to do Fyre Festival right.
He's going to
give me a chance.
Everyone that they were wrong.
Just give Billy a chance.
That's right. So it continues. In their statements on Thursday, festival organizers said via email that they had been offered to host Fyre Festival 2 in Mexico in September 2024 and then in December 2024. They received official government documentation stating full support. They claimed that after they secured private venues with active operating permits, hotels, and we began building and selling tickets, they were blindsided by a public statement claiming Isla Mujeres had no knowledge of Fyre Festival 2, despite months of collaboration and signed documentation. Where are those documents? They alleged that the government of Playa del Carmen approached them and agreed to host the festival, but then later publicly denied any awareness of Fyre Festival 2.
They came to us.
Yeah, begging, tears in their eyes. Please, Mr. McFarland, please.
Billy, please bring your Fyre Festival to Mexico. Please, por favor.
When a government takes your money, issues permits, promotes the event, and then pretends it's never heard of you, that's not just dishonest, it's theft. Due to this, we have decided to move Fyre Festival 2 elsewhere, the organizer said.
None of that is true.
Absolutely
no fucking way.
Not. You would have heard about this the first 3 times that this thing has been...
It doesn't make sense. You're saying Mexico came to you and said, please do Fyre Festival here, and then...
We haven't read the news. We haven't looked at Netflix. We have no idea who this guy is, but hell, a music festival?
Yeah, they just heard that Billy McFarland was setting up a festival, and they were like, I offer you my sword, sir. And then they spent months discussing it and hammering out all the details, and then one day decided to pretend none of that happened.
And the reason they decided to pretend none of that happened is because Billy McFarland booked a side venue that holds 250 people for the hours of 12 to 4 a.m. So obviously the Mexican government was like, absolutely not.
No fucking way.
No, sir.
Yeah, Mexico, the state of Yucatan, notorious for... not letting Americans throw just any old high dollar event they want there. They're very strict down in Yucatan. Shut up.
The only thing I can imagine is that they were, if it were even a shred of truth, was that they were like, okay, yeah, we're doing a music festival. Right? Yeah, typical. Everyone, we do music festivals here. No big deal. Hey, I know it's been a couple weeks. Should we Google this guy's name?
Should we try cashing this check?
Yeah. Boing! Damn!
So, okay, Billy, I mean, we eagerly await your next update on this very real thing. It's definitely happening. I wonder where it's going to be.
I do want to add, I did see when the postponement was announced, they interviewed 2 brothers who had paid to go. And I swear, I don't know for sure, but they these two kids, because they're fucking kids, they're like 21 or whatever.
They were too young for the first one.
This one was like, you could just tell they were doing it because they knew they were going to get screwed over. They had their blogging cameras out. It was like you were going there to document it and be a part of a thing.
That's what we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
Is that the people who attended the first Fyre Festival got something more valuable than a festival in a lot of ways. They got a fucking story that everyone around them is going to be hearing for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, there's hundreds of festivals, well-run festivals throughout the country.
They're a dime a dozen.
Internationally. You could actually save a lot of money by flying over to Europe and seeing a music festival instead of seeing one here.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, that's true.
But,
anyways, moving on now to another live event that does actually seem to be 100% legit, despite how fake it sounds. Live Sperm Racing, here in beautiful Los Angeles, where cum comes to race.
Introducing Sperm Racing, the world's first microscopic racetrack.
Two men, two loads, one winner. And this race isn't just for personal pride, folks. It's for school pride, because the Sperm Racing is just the latest battlefield for the timeless UCLA-USC crosstown rivalry. And yes, because this is 2025, you can indulge your crippling gambling addiction by betting on which sperm is the fastest.
What's the over-under on that little wiggler right there, huh?
Yeah, I wonder if it's like horse racing where you can come up and like look at it with a microscope before the race. You're like, oh yeah, looking good.
They bring the sperm by to get a good look, and like, that sperm hasn't taken a piss yet.
That's the funny, like I haven't been to Santa Anita in so long, but that's the funniest thing is like before each race, they have the horse, you go and you can look at the horses, and there's guys down there just so closely observing every inch of these horses.
I almost did, they did a derby day there where humans ran the track, and I wanted to do it, and I just would have, the only way they could make it more perfect is if they put horses in the stands.
Yeah, yeah,
I would have loved that.
See how y'all like it. If one of you trips and falls, you're getting shot in the fucking head.
Yeah, I'd get a little fake horse leg with a gambling ticket on it and wave it like this. It would be a lot of fun. But back to sperm racing, which Elon Musk just heard about, and he is already in his Hyperloop down here ready to compete.
Almost there. Save a spot for me.
He's got his vials. They're spilling. They're spilling all over.
I'm just going to bring the whole fridge.
Yeah.
It's easier that way. Anyway, with more on this exciting new recession indicator, here's the London Times. A new competition is heading for one of Los Angeles' most well-known arenas, complete with a live stream, stats, leaderboards, instant replays, and betting galore. But you need a microscope to see the competitors. It might come as little surprise to many that the organizers of what is billed as the world's first competitive sperm race are teenagers. A startup called Sperm Racing, run by 4 teenage entrepreneurs from the U.S., said it had raised $1.5 million to stage the event at the Hollywood Palladium on April 25th.
Hey, next Friday.
I know.
Yeah.
It's. I might show up.
Yeah.
Man, you got any media passes?
Hey, if you do, hit up. I'll be going camping, but what a wonderful thing for you to do.
Yeah, I missed the Bernie rally, so this is
this is a nice.
Best I got is the jizz race.
Woo! You can even get a little pennant that says like "cum" on it.
Yeah, they got the thunder sticks, but they're shaped like jizz
or penises.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Mm-hmm. Eric Zhu, the company's 17-year-old co-founder, said the inaugural event would pit samples taken from 2 healthy young university students against each other on a racetrack 20 centimeters, or 8 inches, long, and modeled on the female reproductive system. And I think that'll be the only female reproductive system in the building.
And for sure, the furthest that sperm will ever have to travel. Sorry, I'm sure they're nice kids. Anyways, Zhu said the goal was to have fun while raising awareness about male fertility. We want to turn health into competition. No, Zhu said. Sperm is surprising as a biomarker. The healthier you are, the faster sperm moves. 2 students from rival universities, the University of Southern California and the University of California, Los Angeles, were found to have matching biomarkers and selected to take part. Once the samples are taken, they will be placed in a pipette and injected into a microfluid device in the center of the Palladium, a famed concert venue. In the middle?
That's
cool.
Yes.
I don't think it'd be set up like a traditional concert.
Yeah.
Then people wouldn't be able to see the race.
Well, the Palladium is quite round. That's might be my favorite venue in LA, actually.
It's very good. What they should do is have the magnification cameras on this so you could see it on the screens.
I think they will.
Oh, they will? Okay, cool.
Yeah, otherwise, how the fuck would anybody watch? It'd just be like, the sperm's moving, guys. It's moving. Trust me.
UCLA won. I hope you bet on them.
No, it'll be up on all the. This is the new esports. Esports collapsed. This is what's next. The Saudi money is showing up any day now.
And that's why you need to go, because people are going to have the same questions that I have. And unless you are there to report in person, no one will know.
I'll see what I can do. I'll put it on the company card.
There you go. A live video, there you go. Okay, here we go. A live video feed magnified 40 times to display the 0.05 millimeter spermatozoa will track the sample's progress. Sperm typically swim at about 5 millimeters per minute, meaning each race will take at least 40 minutes.
Oh, man. It's going to be a high drama. Or not.
They're going to need some serious hype men with megaphones and stuff to
Yeah.
keep the crowd engaged for 40 minutes.
I hope these sperm don't collapse under pressure.
That's right. You'll get a sperm pit crew going to help them out halfway through. Whichever crosses the finish line first has verified by advanced imaging.
It's a photo finish.
I don't think it's going to be neck and neck, but sure, will be declared the winner. The event will be run over 3 races. Jesus, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of gambling.
In front of a crowd of 4,000 spectators and feature play-by-play commentary, instant replays, and leaderboards, according to Zhu. Zhu said the startup has attracted interest and investment from prominent members of the biohacking community. Nucleus Genomics, a DNA testing company, is sponsoring the event, and spectators will be able to place bets on Polymarket.
I wonder if Brian Johnson's going to be there.
That was my first thought, is he would shove his way to the front. Honestly, no matter who is competing, they're going to need security to keep Brian Johnson and Elon Musk away from this event.
Let me in.
Hey, I got my jars with me.
Yeah. That should be like the UCLA USC thing. That should be the undercard for Brian Johnson versus Elon Musk.
This is the real cage match that Elon's been hyping up.
Yeah.
He's scared to get punched by Mark Zuckerberg, but he is not scared to produce, not through any sexual means, but produce a semen sample. He probably has it pulled directly from his balls. Whereas Brian Johnson does it the right way. He gets a medical nurse to reach up his asshole.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That's right.
While his son watches.
I learned that from Freddy Got Fingered. It's a Criterion movie now.
Anyway, looking at the Polymarket betting page for this sperm race, we see that the Trojans and the Bruins are basically neck and neck with over $75,000 in bets already placed overall. And there are definitely a few whales among the bettors. Sperm whales, if you will. With one guy holding over 12,000 shares on UCLA, which I think amounts to somewhere around $6,000 on the line. Must be a prominent alumnus.
Probably.
These people are betting on cum.
Yeah.
And also, like, the USC, I mean, if we're basing this on fucking nothing, like what you're betting on is aside from school pride, but the Trojans are the USC is the Trojans. Trojans are condoms. Condoms
Easy to...
Condoms stop cum. I would bet against USC in this one.
Yeah, but you would feel like they'd have like a really easy endorsement deal.
It seems pretty obvious.
Also, like, the winner should clearly be on like a box of Wheaties.
Box of cummies.
Yeah. God. Someone will be after this championship semen. I guarantee it.
Yeah, whoever wins, someone's going to be coming for the king.
Brian Johnson is
coming for the king.
Brian Johnson is going to take his son off the rack.
Yeah.
And put this guy on it and then hook the tubes right back up to himself.
I need the blood.
Yeah.
And if you want to go and see this all go down live and in person, like me, the Live Nation page lists general admission at $50 or $20 with a valid USC or UCLA student ID. Or if you want the full sperm racing experience, the VIP balcony is going for $2,500.
Bullshit. There's no one going to fucking do that.
Every time I've been to the Palladium, like, the VIP area is just dead.
Yeah, it sucks because it sucks. It's the worst view.
Yeah, it's only, like, you get to look down, which I guess, like,
if you're old,
it's always
seating.
Yeah, it's always dudes in like their 50s and 60s who clearly have money, and I'm like, yeah, I get it.
And they don't want to stand for 4 hours.
But also, the Palladium is a great venue because there's not a bad spot in the house.
It sounds great.
Yeah, you can see the stage great. The room is very circular, so yeah, it's There's no need for any bells.
I did it once only because it was, you got a custom screen printed poster from that event. Like an artist did it. And that was like, but I didn't even watch the show from up there.
Yeah.
I got my poster and was just like, I want to be in the crowd. It's not a small venue, but it's not an arena.
Yeah.
You're going to see the band just fine.
Also, these are the boys behind the event right here. I'm not sure why they're all shirtless under the lab coats. Don't really want to know. The two guys in the middle, those are the teens who came up with the idea. The guy on the left is the CEO of an NFT company. And the guy on the right is a former content strategist for Mr. Beast.
Oh, all the stars are out.
We're going to see whose cum is the fastest. God.
Oh.
I
look, I'll say it. I would, the money I would bet, I bet this is a more successful event than the Mr. Beast experience.
Oh, 100%.
Despite the Mr. Beast experience, there would be technically a lot more on the line and a lot more people paying a lot more money. But I'm interested. Color me intrigued.
This is the future of microsports.
And I'm so excited for Elliot to go be there in person with his little flags. You got the Bruins and because you don't care about either teams, I don't think.
No, I did go to school in Los Angeles, but not at either of those schools.
Nice Christian
They didn't let me in.
Yeah.
I didn't even apply to USC because I was like, not going to happen.
You know what the only thing I really know about UCLA is that, back in the 90s, Fresh Prince from Bel Air, he was going there and they made them wear the school uniforms and he said, nope. And he turned that jacket inside out and it was all goofy looking. And they were like, whoa, a free thinker. What are we going to do? A free thinker on our campus.
I don't know.
It was a good episode. Yeah.
Well, anyway, moving on now to some news out of Silicon Valley. Big tech and the oligarchs who run it aren't very popular right now, in case you haven't noticed. And someone up in NorCal is taking out their frustrations on the ruling class in a very novel, exciting way. Over the past few years, crosswalk buttons have started talking, usually just letting you know whether to wait or to go ahead and cross the street. You're good, which is nice for vision-impaired people who don't want to get flattened by a Ford F-150 in this horrible car culture we live in.
It's still a risk. They're very tall front ends.
Yeah, but up in big tech towns like Palo Alto, Menlo Park, and Redwood City, the crosswalks have recently started saying other things. Please enjoy these clips.
Wait. Hi, this is Mark Zuckerberg, but real ones call me the Zuck. You know, it's normal to feel uncomfortable or even violated as we forcefully insert AI into every facet of your conscious experience. And I just want to assure you, you don't need to worry, because there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. Anyway, see ya.
Hi, I'm Elon. Can we be friends? Will you be my friend? I'll give you a Cybertruck, I promise. Okay, look, you don't know the level of depravity I would stoop to just for a crumb of approval. I mean, let's be real. It's not like I had any moral convictions to begin with, right?
Wait. Hey, it's Zuck here. I just wanted to tell you how very proud I am of everything we've been building together. From undermining democracy, to cooking our grandparents' brains with AI slop, to making the world less safe for trans people. Nobody does it better than us, and I think that's pretty neat. Zuck out.
Wait. Hi, this is Elon Musk. Welcome to Palo Alto, the home of Tesla engineering. You know, they say money can't buy happiness, and yeah, okay. I guess that's true. God knows I've tried, but it can buy a Cybertruck, and that's pretty sick, right? Right? Fuck, I'm so alone.
Woo!
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's maybe not so great that apparently dozens of pieces of public infrastructure are very easy to hack.
Yeah.
But at least in this case, the only thing the hackers actually damaged were the egos of Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. It's just a shame that they forgot to go after Jeff Bezos and, oh wait, I'm getting word that the crosswalks up in Seattle have also, they've got something to say as well.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bezos. This crosswalk is sponsored by Amazon Prime with an important message. You know, please don't tax the rich. Otherwise, all the other billionaires will move to Florida too. Wouldn't it be terrible if all the rich people left Seattle or got Luigi'd and then normal people could afford to live here again? Jeffrey Bezos.
Beautiful.
Great work, everyone. Anyway, speaking of our tech oligarchs and how they have way too much power, we've got yet another story for you about how Elon Musk's influence over the federal government may be wearing thin. on the rest of the Trump administration.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Here's the New York Times on Friday. President Trump has replaced the acting commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service after his appointment just days earlier set off a power struggle between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and billionaire Elon Musk. 5 people with knowledge of the change said Friday. Mr. Bessent's deputy, Michael Falkender, will be the new acting leader, replacing Gary Shapley, the Treasury Department confirmed on Friday. Mr. Falkender will be the 3rd acting leader of the agency this week. Mr. Bessent had complained to Mr. Trump this week that Mr. Musk had done an end run around him to get Mr. Shapley installed as the interim head of the IRS. Even though the tax collection agency reports to Mr. Bessent, the people familiar with the situation said, they spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations.
The clash was the latest instance of Mr. Musk's influence in the Trump administration that has alarmed top officials. It was also the latest upheaval at the tax agency, with much of its staff pushed out or quitting. Mr. Musk earlier this week called for the IRS to revoke Harvard University's tax-exempt status after the school refused to impose sweeping changes demanded by the administration. An IRS spokeswoman declined to comment on the leadership changes. Mr. Shapley, a longtime IRS agent, gained fame among conservatives after he claimed that the Justice Department had slow-walked its investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes. Mr. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency pushed Mr. Shapley's appointment through White House channels, but Mr. Bessent was not consulted or asked for his blessing, according to those with knowledge of the dynamic. Mr. Bessent then got Mr. Trump's approval to unwind the decision within days, they said. Mr. Shapley had been working from the IRS commissioner's office as late as Friday morning.
Okay.
The stuff's all still in boxes. So
Yeah.
just put it back in the boxes, go back to your old desk. It's still there.
Elon Musk did what? No, sorry. Sir, that guy's an idiot. So yeah, the IRS is currently on its 4th acting commissioner in 4 months and 3rd in less than a week,
Is that good?
with Trump's actual pick for commissioner still awaiting confirmation. And by comparison, Joe Biden had 3 IRS commissioners during his entire 4 years in office. The article also notes that the feud between Elon Musk and Scott Bessent seems to have been spurred on by none other than Laura Loomer. You've been Loomered, who accused the Treasury Secretary of colluding with a Trump hater by taking a meeting with a nonprofit focused on financial literacy.
How dare he?
In a tweet that Elon shared and called troubling. But while Musk and Bessent might not like each other, they also share a common enemy in the administration, trade advisor Peter Navarro, who Elon last week publicly called dumber than a sack of bricks. That conflict arose from Navarro's steadfast support for imposing stiff tariffs on all imports into the U.S., which was, of course, Trump's idea, but Elon would never dare call Trump dumber than a sack of bricks. So Peter Navarro it was.
Anyway, on Friday, the Wall Street Journal revealed that getting those new tariffs paused involved Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick basically just waiting for Peter Navarro to not be lurking around so that they could sneak on in and get Trump and talk some sense into him.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for Peter Navarro to take his daily shit. We have
His daily
about 5 minutes.
constitutional.
They needed to get the president alone. On April 9th, financial markets were going haywire. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick wanted President Trump to put a pause on his aggressive global tariff plan. But there was a big obstacle. Peter Navarro, Trump's tariff-loving trade advisor, who was constantly hovering around the Oval Office. Navarro isn't one to back down during policy debates and had stridently urged Trump to keep tariffs in place even as corporate chieftains and other advisors urged him to relent. And Navarro had been regularly around the Oval Office since Trump's Liberation Day event.
So that morning, when Navarro was scheduled to meet with economic advisor Kevin Hassett in a different part of the White House, Bessent and Lutnick made their move, according to multiple people familiar with the intervention. They rushed to the Oval Office to see Trump and propose a pause on some of the tariffs, without Navarro there to argue or push back. They knew they had a tight window. The meeting with Bessent and Lutnick wasn't on Trump's schedule. The two men convinced Trump of the strategy to pause some of the tariffs and to announce it immediately to calm the markets. They stayed until Trump tapped out a Truth Social post, which surprised Navarro, according to one of the people familiar with the episode. Bessent and Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt almost immediately went to the cameras outside the White House to make a public announcement. "We needed everyone singing from the same song sheet," a person familiar with the matter said. Wow.
Holy shit, what a clown show.
Usurping each other.
Yeah, Peter's taking a dump. We have 5 minutes. Get him. Make sure he posts it to Truth. All right, get Carolyn over here. Get the mics and cameras ready. We gotta go.
The past 2 weeks, this week in particular, but the past 2 weeks, there has been a noticeable shift, a noticeable vibe shift with this administration cracks finally coming to the surface to where it's going to be very hard to ignore because of the town halls, because of the specifically Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the attention that's gotten from the senator going down there, and all of the tariff stuff with even the corporations pushing back on it. We have to like maintain this momentum because there has been a vibe shift here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Scott Bessent, very clearly, every time he was on camera being asked about this shit, his heart was not in it. He did not have that dog in him when it came to those tariffs and couldn't hide it. And it is kind of funny because, like, the one guy in Trump's first administration who kind of succeeded at stopping him from doing some of the worst stuff was the Treasury Secretary. What was his fucking name? Steve Mnuchin. Mm-hmm. Steve Mnuchin.
Warner Brothers hero.
Yeah, Warner Brothers hero, producer of Suicide Squad. Steve Mnuchin, like, at one point stops Trump from, like, declaring war on Venezuela or something crazy like that. These money guys, they're Republicans, but, like, you know, you're going to make the line go down. Can you not?
They don't want line go down.
But again, we must remind you that as stupid and ridiculous as this administration is, it's also evil. And RFK Jr. put that stupidity, ridiculousness, and evil on full display this week in a press conference where he claimed that he will reveal the definitive cause of autism by September. And he also took the opportunity to describe everyone with autism as basically a vegetable.
Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children.
Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, there are definitely people with autism who are severely disabled by it, but the whole reason autism diagnoses are on the rise is that autism is a spectrum, and we've gotten a lot better at diagnosing people on the fringes of that spectrum who are able to do all of those things that he listed just fine, including watch Internet Today videos.
Thank you.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Robert? There is a very popular TV show right now called Love on the Spectrum where people with autism, they date each other. And what's this about autistic people never playing baseball? Your own fucking aunt, Aunt Eunice, was the founder of the Special Olympics. What are you talking about? These statements were also news to the millions of people out there who have jobs and pay taxes, all while also being autistic.
Yeah, this was another thing where it is becoming harder and harder for conservatives to ignore things like this because they're getting the effects of all of this and all this actually evil shit. And before they can be like, oh, well, that's someone I don't even know. Whatever.
Yeah.
And now there's people with autistic children who are like, what the fuck, Robert Kennedy?
Yeah, I mean, like...
Or are autistic themselves. Like,
literally, like, Elon Musk claims to... Well, he says he has Asperger's, but today that's just considered part of the autism spectrum. So RFK is in a way, saying all of this about Elon Musk.
Yeah, and if you're basing success on wealth, like...
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about the guy. I don't think Elon will ever play baseball, though. I think he's right about that. But the entire press conference was riddled with pseudoscience and outright falsehoods, easily verifiable. We don't have time to get into all of it here, but what is clear is that RFK Jr., despite presenting himself as some sort of expert on this, barely knows jack shit about autism. And this is the confidently wrong dipshit who's in charge of our nation's health. God help us.
I feel like this is one of those situations where he like put out the statement and then like just became this figure and just loved the power and attention, but he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about or doing.
Yeah, he doesn't know like really, really basic stuff about autism.
Yeah.
He at one point he claimed like there are no elderly people with autism. And it's like, no, actually there are. We have a lot of data to back that up too. Also, again, there'd be more elderly people with autism if the testing was better 70 years ago.
Yeah. It's, folks, not great. But hey, it gets worse. Here's the Associated Press. A Texas doctor who has been treating children in a measles outbreak was shown on video with a measles rash on his face in a clinic a week before Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. met him and praised him as an extraordinary healer. Dr. Ben Edwards appeared in the video posted March 31st by the anti-vaccine group Kennedy once led, Children's Health Defense. In it, Edwards appears wearing scrubs and talking with parents and children in a makeshift clinic he set up in Seminole, Texas, ground zero of the outbreak that has sickened hundreds of people and killed 3, including 2 children. Edwards is asked whether he had measles, and he responded, yes, then said his infection started the day before the video was recorded. Yesterday was pretty achy. Little mild fever, spots came in the afternoon. Today I woke up feeling good, Edwards said in the video. Maybe infecting children around him and potentially leading to their deaths. That's why he said this with the confidence of a fucking asshole.
Yes, this is measles on my face.
And yes, that is your child that's probably getting it.
Measles is most contagious for about 4 days before and 4 days after the rash appears, and is one of the world's most contagious diseases, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Doctors and health experts said Edwards' decision to go into the clinic put children, their parents, and their community at risk because he could have spread it to others. They said there was no scenario in which Edwards' conduct would be reasonable. Kennedy met with Edwards about a week after the video was posted by Children's Health Defense, the group Kennedy led for years until December. In an April 6th post on X, Kennedy said he visited with these 2 extraordinary healers, including Edwards and another doctor, and praised their use of 2 unproven treatments for measles.
I'm going to come right out and say it. I would not trust anyone who told me that they were guiding me to a healer.
Yeah, I'll go with the regular old doctors.
Yeah, when you start calling a doctor a healer, I'm going to start questioning that doctor's education.
As well, because he wasn't even wearing a fucking mask. And he could have mitigated a lot of risk here by just putting on one of the many easily available masks that are out there.
No, but that's like a sign of you're not masculine if you wear a mask.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just raw dogging his measles all over everyone around him. Although, I mean, at least most of the people around him, it sounds like they were anti-vaxxers. So maybe they'll find out.
It doesn't matter because those people interact with normal people. And that's the problem.
Good. And yeah, this is in the midst of a deadly measles outbreak that this doctor, this healer, is supposed to be fighting.
Also,
not great.
There was apparently another salmonella outbreak that just did not get a press release did not go out.
E. coli.
Oh, E. coli, yeah.
Yeah, so the outbreak happened last year, and so they're supposed to, once they finish their investigation, they're supposed to notify the public of which suppliers were responsible, and I guess they weren't able to definitively figure out which supplier it was. Mm-hmm. And RFK is just well, we don't want to in case one of these suppliers didn't have E. coli, we don't want to besmirch their name. So
and it was the same day that the article came out about how the FDA is rolling back food testing. So all good things, good things.
Great time to start growing your own food.
Yeah, health and the protection of citizens is just far too expensive,
too hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on now to your periodic update on Mike Lindell's self-inflicted financial ruin.
Why would I do this to myself?
The MyPillow man bet everything on debunking the results of the 2020 election, and he's still dealing with the fallout, legally and financially, of all that, despite Trump being back in office, and thus all of Mike Lindell's efforts being rendered totally moot.
He won't answer my calls.
Poetic. He destroyed his pillow fortune for nothing. It sounds like things are getting pretty dire for him. Here's ABC News. Election denier and MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell continues to refuse to pay more than $50,000 in sanctions he has been ordered to pay to voting software company Smartmatic over frivolous election claims, alleging he's left with no money after numerous legal battles. I'm in ruins, Terry Lindell said through a Zoom screen during a motion hearing in the U.S. District Court in Washington on Wednesday, pleading to Judge Carl Nichols to allow him to wait until after the final judgment comes out to make any payment in the case, which he has already lost.
Last month, Smartmatic filed a motion to hold Lindell in contempt, alleging the MyPillow CEO has been dodging his court-ordered payment of $56,369 to Smartmatic for months. Lindell, however, insisted that he does not have the means to pay the amount due to various financial difficulties he has suffered over the last few years, due to what he again claimed was lawfare waged against him for trying to secure the election. I borrowed everything I can. Nobody will lend me any money anymore, Lindell claimed. I can't turn back time, but I will tell you I don't have any money. Really? You can't turn... Could you say that maybe that was all bullshit? Oh, no,
I was
I'm not
right.
Say that. In fact, I'll keep... I was right. I'll keep incriminating myself.
Prove me wrong. Oh, fuck, he did.
Dang. Lindell claimed he was recently forced to lay off hundreds of MyPillow employees, lost multiple MyPillow warehouse units over the past 2 years, and even owes millions of dollars to the IRS for what he described as a COVID-era employee retention credit. He claimed he has nothing except for 2 houses, which he claimed are in the process of being liquidated, and a truck.
Oh, jeez.
Self-inflicted.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. It is really funny that, like...
He just seems like such a useful idiot, which, like, it really shows, like, another, not even the worst evil side of Trump, but it's a full display of just kind of like surface level evil shit. Where
this guy blew up his entire life for Trump, and like now can't even get him on the phone.
Trump does not care about him. He never cared about him.
Yeah, he was useful.
He only cared about him because he saw him on the commercials. Yeah. And once he got one speck of just stench of failure on him,
he's a loser.
Trump,
get him out of my sight.
And it's far from the most evil thing Trump's done, but it's another example of his personality.
Yeah. Anyway, we got the headlines half of the show coming up in just a moment. But first, it is time to let you know that this episode is sponsored by House of Atlas. Shing, shing. A brand new razor company that just hit the market. Mm-hmm. They sent us their new razors to try out, and honestly, it's the nicest looking razor I've ever owned. But more importantly, it shaves the top of my head and my cheeks and my neck just great, thanks to its 5 high-quality blades and its high-performance serum strip. Plus, they gave me their shave cream and aftershave to try out. Fantastic.
I want more things to do. I'm smelling good. I'm looking good. I need to hit the road.
Yeah, it's shouldn't be wasting this smooth skin just sitting around the house. Mm-hmm. Got to get out.
Now, obviously, the razor looks great. It has a sleek design, but it's also easy to hold and maneuver with a nice weight to it. The blade head has 5 US-made stainless steel blades that glide right through my facial hair. It has a high-performance serum strip that's infused with ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and shea butter, which reduces irritation and helps prevent ingrown hairs. Now, the coolest part is the precision trim edge that's revealed by flipping back the serum strip for straight edges and detailing. Their shave cream is an ultra-thick formula that shows you exactly where you need to be shaven and leaves your skin baby-bottom soft. Their premium razor kits come with a magnetic storage hook that you can attach to your bathroom mirror or medicine cabinet for easy storage.
Now, for a limited time, they're offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the precision shave cream and calming aftershave. Use code WEEKLYWEIRD at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code WEEKLYWEIRD for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as we do.
This episode is also sponsored by Factor. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside and instead of spending all day sweating away indoors in the kitchen prepping and cooking. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. You can choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more.
Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss.
You know what I love? They got this smoky Gouda chicken.
Oh, Gouda?
It is. You think that thing's out in a freaking Traeger all day with how smoky that Gouda is.
How do they get that smoke?
I don't know, but I love it.
You can get this smoke too by getting started at factormeals.com/weeklyweird50 off and using code weeklyweird50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code weeklyweird50 off at factormeals.com/weeklyweird50 off for 50% off plus free shipping.
All right, here we are. The time has come. It's time to get into the weirdest, wildest, craziest, dumbest headlines from around the world this week, starting with...
Stephen A. Smith says he has no choice but to consider a run for president.
No. Just keep rating Pokemon cards or whatever it is you do on your show that has nothing to do with sports. Please. I like Stephen A. Smith. I think he's entertaining, but we don't need the celebrity politician thing anymore. That was the 2010s.
Yeah, I mean...
The Rock tried it. Fucking all these people.
It was never going to work with The Rock because The Rock is not an authentic person. He is a product. Stephen A. Smith, say what you will about him, he is very much his own man. Mm-hmm. And he's a good talker and he's smart. Not all of his politics are great, but he's been doing great at talking shit on the Democrats for fumbling shit, and I don't know. I feel like he doesn't actually want it, but having him up on the debate stage would be
It'd be funny,
would
yeah.
be interesting.
He should maybe try like for Congress first or something.
Here's the thing: he doesn't want to be president. He's like everyone keeps coming up to me and telling me to do this.
Don't listen to that.
I'd have to do it, and I think the fact that his heart isn't in it would mean he'd probably just drop out at some point, and he's not going to really like try for it. But having him run, even if it's just a vanity run, could be interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
Sure,
it's still a long ways off. And
I really do like when he does the competitions between two pop culture things that you would assume he nor anyone. I don't even know the details of a lot of the stuff.
And a lot of times he doesn't either.
Yeah. But he sells it in a way that is just so confident.
Yeah, he's got that dog, and I generally think like he's only been doing like political commentary for the last couple of years, but like he'll go on Fox News and pretty much like hold his own out there.
Yeah, because he's previously had to argue with sports dorks.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a cakewalk for him.
It's the same thing. Like AOC worked as a bartender for years.
Yeah,
that
she knows how to.
That instills certain like interpersonal skills in you that you can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Trump slammed for using 30,000 real eggs for White House Easter hunt despite massive U.S. shortage.
Trump take egg. There's your eggs, folks. You want to find the eggs? Go look at them right there.
Quite literally, because of the shortage, taking 30,000 for yourself actually probably does affect the egg economy.
Yeah, he's fixing all the markets, including the egg markets.
We've put tariffs on the eggs.
It is funny. Like, there's so many ways to do Easter games and shit for kids that don't involve real eggs. Like, I think only a couple times as a kid we did like painting the eggs, and the rest of the time it's just those plastic ones.
Yeah,
but like chocolate and like quarters hidden around the yard.
I haven't touched a real egg for Easter since I was a child. And I know that, like, I guess parents, they probably do the egg dyeing and stuff like that. But in this economy?
Yeah. Unless you're, we have a mutual friend who lives out in the country now, and I stopped by his place, and he gave me some farm fresh eggs.
I'm going to be
for
seeing
free
him next week, so I'll get some eggs for myself.
Yeah, well, he's got like 7 chickens, so yeah, they'll probably be enough for you by then. He couldn't give me a dozen. There was only 11. Ready at the time.
Mm-hmm. Is that what's the opposite of a baker's dozen? A faker's dozen.
Yeah, faker's dozen.
11 eggs.
J.D. Vance says Europe should have done more to stop Iraq war. You motherfucker!
We're all trying to find the guy's
fucking piece of shit. Shut up. This is so funny. It's like, well,
this is like your drunk friend steals your keys.
Why'd you let me do that?
Yeah, why'd you let me drive?
Why did you stop me?
Hey, I just totaled my car. What the fuck?
Yeah, first of all, Europe did. They weren't enthusiastic about it at best.
And also, America turned its back on one of its greatest allies throughout its entire history.
We were real dicks about it.
Yeah.
And even if they had all told us to fuck off, we would have still done it. Like, what did you expect Europe to do?
I assume that in his brain, he's like, Europe should have stopped Iraq from having those fake weapons of mass destruction?
I don't fucking know. He's also like, he was in the military. He should fucking know this. But like the arrangement that we have with Europe, where they're not doing their fair share of military, is in exchange for us having like dozens of bases all across the European continent that are essentially U.S. territory.
Yeah.
And it's a deal that, you can say a lot of things about, but it's very much worked out in the U.S. foreign policy favor.
That's why, like, J.D. Vance sucks so bad, because a lot of people, you can be like, well, they're fucking stupid, or they have no life experience, or they're just plain evil. J.D. Vance is smart and also intentionally acting this way.
Yeah.
He's like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
He knows that what he's saying is wrong, and he's choosing to say it anyway.
Europe should have stopped us from doing that stupid war. Stupid war. Why didn't you do anything, Europe?
And they didn't even say thank you.
They didn't even say thank you when we ended it.
Of course they did do that. In case anyone's watching and for some reason... Or sorry, I'm thinking of World War II. Sorry. I was referencing something that I didn't mention.
They didn't even say thank you.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Wisconsin governor can lock in 400-year school funding increase using a veto, court says.
Good.
And this is the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which... Still liberal majority on there. This was a story we talked about like 2 years ago, but the governor Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, governors can partially veto laws by crossing words out. And he crossed out, it was like a funding increase.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah.
It was like 2023 to 2024, and he crossed out the 20s and the dash, and so it's like funding increase until 23, 24.
Good.
Yeah, pretty great. Or 24, 25. Anyway, they
And
took
this
it all the
was-
way to Supreme Court, and they're like, I don't know, them's the rules. Change the rules if you don't like it.
And this was after a pretty conservative governor as well, right? In Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin was like gerrymandered to hell and back for a long time. And this guy got in by the skin of his teeth, and yeah, things are turning around there politically. But it's still very much a battleground.
Unsecured penguin caused a helicopter crash in South Africa.
No one died. Just you hear helicopter crash, and you're like, oh God, to humanity. But somehow these people crashed a helicopter, and no one even got hurt.
That's incredible. And also, I mean, I guess those tariffs on penguins, they were kind of important.
These penguins are trouble.
Yeah, they were trying to smuggle themselves.
I like how they're blaming it on the penguin. You put a penguin in a box, and you didn't secure the box. And the box, when they yawed the helicopter, the box shifted.
Why would Europe do this?
And this was a big boy penguin and a tiny helicopter, so it threw off the weight. And
JD Vance should have secured that penguin.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe Europe and its many penguins would do this to us.
And they didn't even say thank you.
They didn't even stop us.
Florida woman arrested for selling human remains on Facebook Marketplace.
And she's just like, I didn't know that was illegal. I didn't know you couldn't do that.
It was like bones and stuff.
Yeah, like, bone. Like this is like a weird little side of the curiosities business.
The occult.
Yeah, they're selling bones, and like these people. This happens all the time. People don't realize you can't just sell human remains. It depends, like state by state. But I guess this person assumed, like, hey, it's Florida. It's Florida.
Yeah. What's the worst?
How could there possibly be a law against this in the great state of Florida? But there was. Now she's in trouble. Can't sell human bones on Facebook Marketplace.
I thought this was America.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess it's
Gonna have to switch.
Venezuela. Vuvuzela.
Have to switch to OfferUp.
Yeah. Man who didn't want to look after girlfriend's pet sent bomb threat to cruise she was on.
It's a bit extreme. Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I kind of, like, after reading the article, I kind of see where he was coming from here, because he was living with his girlfriend and her family. And the whole family went on a cruise without inviting him.
Yeah.
They left him behind to watch their dogs.
The only other thing would be like,
I'd be annoyed by that too. What the fuck?
not annoyed enough to call in a bomb threat, but yeah.
I get where he was coming from. This was not the way to deal with it, because this happened years ago, and this case has been ongoing, and it's you can't just call it a bomb threat.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't really do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe next time say please. Thank you.
Hey, here's a headline that we have alluded to happening multiple times on this show, but look, here it is.
Yeah.
Tech CEO promised AI, but hired workers in the Philippines instead, FBI claims.
And that's fraud? That's a crime to do that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, apparently it is. You can't tell investors that you have this amazing AI product, and then turns out when anyone's using it, it's just like a farm, a server farm in the Philippines, people doing it for you.
Your Honor? No. Shut up, Your Honor. You know what? We didn't spell it out. The A stands for actual.
Actual intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah.
My work here is done.
I'm just glad it's not Indians, because that one came up a few times.
Yeah.
AI stands for actually Indians.
Yeah, I mean, the dystopian thing is that in Elon's events, there's clearly humans operating it. I'm sure they're just in a truck a couple blocks away. But
Yeah.
yes, clearly being operated by humans. And that would be, as you can see, when people make cuts or take shortcuts, it could end up being like an inevitable thing that you actually just have another person in there that's working for you from a desk around the world.
Yeah.
So
It's almost as cheap. Anxiety drugs found in rivers make salmon take more risks.
I saw a salmon jump so far upstream you would have never believed it.
Yeah, they're like, okay, short term, the salmon they're very successfully getting up the stream. Their survival rate has gone up. This is good for the salmon. It's a great spawning season. Long term, maybe not great. I don't know. We need to look into it more.
Yeah.
But
Jumping straight into the bear's mouth.
put your salmon on Prozac, and it'll make it.
Yeah.
It'll outrun the bear. We've poisoned our waters in just the right way to help the fish.
Yeah. Not a little bit too much. We're going to have serious problems. But right now, we're in the Goldilocks zone.
You won't need a salmon cannon.
Well,
they'll be able to do it themselves.
Maybe that's why the salmon were getting scared of the cannon. So they had to
Don't put me in that thing.
thunk.
New Orleans officials can sexually harass workers so long as productivity doesn't decline.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. The case, see, this is like city employees, and the case revolves around a woman sexually harassing her subordinates. Bet
Wow.
you didn't see that coming.
Wow. Hey, good for her.
No. And
We're to smash the glass ceiling.
yeah, the case, I don't know. I don't understand the process here, but they were just like, look, the work got done. How can you say whether harassment is good or bad if the work got done?
Yeah.
And they were forced to give her her job back.
And they probably got her a parade, too.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
New Orleans, you got to have the parade. Shut down the traffic. Everyone, stop your cars. We got a parade.
We got
coming through.
the queen of sexual harassment
Yeah.
coming through. Make way. Ugh.
Anyways, that's our show.
Woo-wee!
Did you like the video?
Yeah, maybe you should click the dang button, the ding dong button.
Like the button.
And then
Dingus.
click the join button. There's two options. You can pay $5 and you get a bunch of emojis and some other stuff, or you can pay $3 and we give you a discount and we're just very friendly about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, you don't need to do that. Just click the like button, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and of course, watch our videos that are going to pop up in a second because Mr. Beast has decided he saw Willie's chocolate experience and he decided to do the other thing.
Yeah.
But it turns out that was just a loop, and he was right back to doing the same thing they did. And we also have another episode up for you about the death of 4chan. So check both of those out, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.